It's me, the DO Double G. Welcome to the Eden Army Podcast with your host tonight, Pete Robert Tucci.
Well, thanks, Snoop. Guys, as you can see, I am not in the normal Eden Army studio. We are mobile. We are actually live from Harmony, North Carolina in the Fallout event. And if you're not here, you should be. And if you're not here, you've got time to get here. Russ prompted me to follow, like, share, subscribe, all that happy stuff. Makes the algorithm gods happy. So do that. But yeah, man, there is a star-studded group of people out there by the campfire right now. So I promise you, this is not going to last very long. But you got Angry American out there. You got Brian Duff out there. I think I seen Franklin Horton out there. A whole bunch of other people, and then the normal cast of characters. The Eden Army and the Angry Nation is out there. So, quite honestly, I can't wait to get out there and hang out with those guys and pick their brains and kind of shoot the BS for a little while. Looks like already Larry's on. Will's out there. Sandy Davis wishes she could be here. Javi's here in chat. Mama Tooch is there. Terry, of course. We'll see Terry tomorrow, hopefully. Eden Army #1, Fireman Ed. Good to see you guys. We got a pretty good show tonight, but like I said, it's going to be really brief. Before we do anything, though, let's thank Mr. Russ Sawyer because he's always pushing buttons in the back and keeping me in line. So let's bring him on and shoot the BS for him for a little while. I was supposed to bring you in, Russ. You told me, bring you in, he said. And then he hits it again. What's up, brother?
Hey, man, I'm sitting here right beside you almost literally in the same room. We're very close. We're going to have a great time down here at up here in the Harmony. We got a great, like you said, man, everybody that's anybody's here. If you're not here, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah, and you got Brian Loftus is out there setting up his stuff. He brings more merchandise than anybody I've ever seen fit into a trailer. So he'll be up all night putting that together. But just putting a face to some of these guys that you kind of see in podcasts and stuff like that. And poor Franklin Horton, every time I get Franklin, I'm sorry. If you're watching, I'm sorry. But every time I get a chance to sit next to that guy, I am constantly picking his brain. So he told me about some little trick a little bit earlier, and he saw me kind of shuffling because he knows I'm a scatterbrain. So he saw me shuffling for my pockets, and what I'm doing is I'm looking for this because I don't remember anything, and I want to take the note and write it down. He waves his hand. He goes, I already sent it to you on Messenger, man. I know how you are. So.
Yeah, he does. I had a good conversation with Franklin earlier today when he showed up, and of course he parked in his normal spot away from the ruffians, but he slides on over, hangs out for a little bit, and then everybody looks around and is like, well, where'd Franklin go? He just kind of goes poof.
Yeah, that's what he does. He's kind of a recluse. I like that fact about him. No BS, just kind of, okay, I'm done. I'm out of here. I do have a bone to pick with him, though. I understand this is public knowledge, so I'm not breaking any, spectacular news. But he's writing the last book of the Way of Dan series.
He is.
Quite frankly, that pisses me off because I like that series.
I do too.
It's not the normal, right? It's not a super prepper guy. It's just a ordinary everyday guy that gives no F's. He just and I like that. So maybe I'll buy that series from him. Maybe I'll make a deal and say, let me carry it on.
Well, and I guess, from a writer's standpoint, he felt that it was done. He does have a new series coming out, essentially from a female perspective. He gave me a little insight of how that came about today, and I'm not going to show any spoilers, share any spoilers. But
I'm looking forward
to be really, really good, guys.
I am looking forward to that. And you're right. He probably knows when it's run its course. He's a lot smarter than I am, and he's a much better writer. So you didn't have to agree so adamantly about that, Russ. What the hell?
I was agreeing because he's a whole lot smarter than me too, man. You guys are. Hey, how many books do I have out? Oh, that would be 0. And how many books have I started? Yeah, that would be 0. Yeah, no, you guys got a head and shoulders above me.
There is a little bit of news out there that I'm just going to touch on real quick because I'm proud of the boys over there in the Middle East and what they're doing. Oh, Yahya Sinwar, Yahya is his name, by the way. He was a leader of Hamas, and he orchestrated the October 7th terrorist attack that killed over 1,500 Jewish people. Met his maker today.
Yeah, he got to see his 72 Virginians. Oh, wait,
yeah, he got his 72 right? goats. So good job to the IDF. Maybe some of our friends were involved with that. I know the Shin Bet was involved. So good on you guys, and thank you, because every terrorist, Hamas terrorist, they take out is one that one less that's looking at us here in the homeland, right? So good job, guys. I'm proud of you. And if our friends over there right now doing the dirty work, Godspeed, brother. Godspeed. So
absolutely. And Patrick 7 just joined us saying he's late. Hey, Patrick, if you can't show up on time, show up when you can, brother. You know how
exactly. And Russ, you know, the other thing about this this attack on this terrorist scumbag is it actually happened in Rafah.
It did.
And that's significant because the Biden-Harris administration, for the longest time, told Israel, keep your hands off Rafah. That's where all the refugees are. Keep your hands off Rafah. Keep your hands off Rafah. No, that's not where all the refugees are. That's where all the terrorists are. I saw a lot of these innocent refugees, innocent Palestinians spitting on hostages when they were getting wheeled through Gaza. So, no, don't keep your hands off Rafah.
Well,
go in hard.
Yep. Not only that, if I remember my what I read correctly, US B2s were involved also in a lot of that stuff.
Well, the B2s actually hit the Houthis. Okay, so they actually took care of some of the Houthis, which good, finally. I mean, how many missiles need to be shot at American troops, American sailors, before the Biden-Harris administration finally does something? So
absolutely.
Good stuff. Patrick, good to see you, brother. I wish you were up here. So,
Patrick, send me a link to that video, man. I'd like to see that. He says, did we see the drone footage of Sinwar in a last-ditch effort threw a stick at a drone while sporting a shoelace tourniquet?
No, I love that, though, Patrick. I need to see that.
I need to see that.
Let's pop that up there real quick. I have to see that because, first of all, if there's a lot of internet medics, I'm going to have a chat with, first of all.
Yeah, they owe you an apology.
Exactly.
But Pete, speaking of medics and firefighters and medicine in general, we have a guest tonight.
We do have a guest, and it's a guy that he fit the part, right? We have the narrator for the Eden series, and he fit that part. But then now we got this series that's going on in the Midwest, and we have luckily I found a guy from that general area, and he fits the part. But before we do that, Russ, let's run the promo on what we're actually talking about first.
Sure. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Dalton Grinder's life had unraveled in a brutal series of blows. First, the army cast him aside. Then, his wife walked out, leaving him with nothing but the hollow echo of a once shared life. As if that wasn't enough, his last remaining relative, his grandfather, passed away, closing the final chapter of his family history. Born and bred in the heat and humidity of Florida, Dalton now finds himself heading north to the cold, unforgiving woods of Wisconsin to settle his grandfather's affairs. But fate isn't done with him yet. As Dalton arrives, the South is teetering on the edge of chaos. Legacy media dubs it an insurrection, but the whispers on the ground speak of something far more ominous: the dawn of a new civil war. Birchwood Burning, the first book in the North of Eden series, unfolds against the backdrop of the Eden event, an apocalyptic event first introduced in Pete's best-selling 3 Days to Eden. The serenity of the Northwoods only served to mask the fact that Dalton Grinder's battles are far from over. They've only just begun. Pick up Birchwood Burning, North of Eden, Book 1 on Amazon September 20th, 2024.
There you go. Birchwood Burning. Not only not only is the hard copy done, not only is that already out and burning up the charts, by the way, thank you all very much, but our next guest is responsible for the Audible version. So let's introduce Mr. Matthew White. Hey brother, how you doing, man?
Hey Pete, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing real good. Good to see you. So Matt, tell us, you auditioned for the Eden series, and you were there. You were like you were going to be the guy, and then luckily this other series came out, and I'm like, no, I've got the perfect narrator for this, and but you're not. That's not your primary profession, right, Matt? What do you do full time, brother?
Yeah, so actually for the last decade and a half, I've been a firefighter paramedic. I've worked a little bit everywhere. I actually started my career over in Florida. I worked at the city of Dunedin, which is on the west coast, Pinellas County. And then I moved up to Ohio, actually, because my wife was born and raised here, and she said that she wanted the seasons. And even though I wanted the heat, you follow your wife, you're a happy life. And then I ended up coming up here, and I've worked here ever since.
Very good, very good. Well, we're glad to have you as part of the Eden Army, which is a tribe with the Angry Nation, of course. We're all kind of intermingled together, so we're glad to have you.
So Matt, what
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So Matt, what made you decide to do Audible in addition to being a farmer and firefighter, EMT? I mean, what got you to decide to go this route and have to deal with ruffians like us?
Right. So, well, I mean, initially we were, living in the city. I worked a mile away from the station. I ran to work because I always liked listening to books. And then we uprooted ourselves and moved out to the country in order to, grow our own food, raise our own meat, and kind of be more of that self-sustaining lifestyle that, once you start realizing the food industry and everything you eat, you want to kind of have the best that you can. So that's how that kind of started. And then, I mean, last year I was actually just taking my cows for a walk, along the pastures because I needed some other grass ate. And I stumbled across a short video on, actually being a narrator versus just listening to books. I was like, I think I'm going to try that. And I told my wife that, and she's like, oh, of course, my wife didn't think I was that serious until now here I am.
Matt, that's a funny story that you said it like that, because I know as I was writing my book, being at the fire department in our downtime between calls, I'm writing a book, and the guys would come in and they go, what are you doing? I go, I'm writing a book. And they go, get the hell out of here. You're a knuckle. You're not writing a book. You're a firefighter. I go, no, really, I'm writing a book. Did you get any grief? Did the guys know it worked? You're a narrator now, a famous narrator, and did you get any grief from the guys?
So, well, like I said, I've been doing this for a decade and a half. So I learned early on, you don't tell anyone at the fire station what you're doing until you have something to back it up. So I waited and had a book on Audible before I made it known to everybody. And everyone jokes around that I need to narrate, our policies when we're reading them or anything like that. So I'm actually, it's
like
fun. It's getting picked on, but fun. Yeah.
Right. It is. Yeah. And listen, and you're right about that, especially if the guys in the station are, if they know something gets to you, right? And that's the same way around the campfire here. If these guys around here know something gets to you, they're gonna just drill it home until you're sick of them. So very cool.
No
very
weakness.
Cool. No, you can't be weak around the Eden Army or the Angry Nation or the fire department. So Matt, this is the first post-apocalyptic book you've done?
It is, yeah. Like I was saying before, actually, it's not the first one I've auditioned for, but it's the first one that I'm glad, you gave me the opportunity to actually focus on and look at. And it's been a great genre to get into, and I'm looking forward to more.
Yeah, and it's like I was telling you off the air. I was telling you that it is a great genre to get into. First of all, because even the authors, we all kind of stick together and we help each other, like I was saying with Franklin Horton and Angry American. But the readers, they can't get enough of this stuff. You cannot write this stuff fast enough, and it's the same way with the Audible versions of this. So
because we got a bunch of knuckle draggers that are like, dude, I don't read. When's the Audible coming out? Well, we finally beat Pete over the head and enough, and he's started it on the Audible and is going great. And
Birchwood Barnon should light it up also. So no Ed, book 2's not out yet. So just give me a minute, give me a second.
Welcome to the big leagues, brother.
Yeah. Well, when they tell me, they're like, no, I don't read books, and I go, look, I barely write them. So it works out perfect. So very, very cool. What part of Birchwood Burning, without giving away any cliffhangers or details or top secret Snoop shit, what part was any part of it more challenging than the other? Was it doing the lady's voice? Was it anything like that really kind of stuck in your craw a little bit?
Yeah, well, I mean, always doing a woman's voice and like how are you going to pitch it? I kind of take Scott Brick's, where you try to make it a little bit breathier, and you try to play the attitude and not necessarily the voice itself. So I tried to do that, and that's always the hardest thing, because I'm trying to go out. So that's one thing where the fire services help me out with, because you deal with a lot of different attitudes out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly. So do we have a link, Russ? Do we have a link for the Birchwood Burning Audible? We
do.
Let's pop that up there for a little bit. And from what I understand now, YouTube and Facebook and all this is going to those fancy. They really are liking these QR WXYZ codes. Yeah. So if you're into that kind of thing, which I don't understand, take a picture of that funky thing right there, and it'll send you right to the link to the Audible version of that right there. So give it a look and see if it works for you. I don't even know if it works, Russ, to be quite honest with you. I don't test these things. You know how I am.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we just make them. We don't test them. So
exactly.
Fireman Ed wants a sample.
No, we don't have any samples. We'll do that next week. I'll give you a sample next week. I mean, I have them, but we're not. Look, I already promised this guy, and I promised the other narrator, I'm not going to make you get on live and do a sample of the damn thing. That's nerve-wracking. It's hard enough being on this podcast without drinking a bottle and a half of whiskey for me anyway. I can imagine how it is for the narrators, right?
I mean, it'd be okay. It's just that if it's not that I don't make mistakes either. So that's where editing comes into play. So
right, exactly. And I told you the story that my editor told me. I say, listen, I write like a 5-year-old, and she goes, I don't care how you write. She goes, your job's to put the words on the paper. My job's to make them look pretty. So that's exactly what the editing process is all about. So very cool. So Russ said you live on a farm, and you told me you're walking cows. So explain a little bit of that.
Yeah. So, for a while, my wife and I kept talking about wanting to buy a piece of retirement property. And, we got to a point where we're like, well, we keep talking about fixing up our old house in the city and, to make it our, forever home. And if we have the ability to go out to the country and have a house out there and pay it off before I retire, I was like, why don't we do that now? And then we found this place, before inflation, before everything. So like our interest rate is great. We found a great deal on 26 acres, and it has a nice 1902 farmhouse on it with an addition. So it kind of spiraled. We started doing commercial farming also for a little bit, where we were raising pasture-raised poultry, pastured pork, all the stuff that's supposed to give you, the best health that you can. Until we've, it was with working a full-time job, and having a wife and kids, and we homeschool our kids also. So that takes a big toll on everyone. So we kind of backed off and just raise food and grow for ourselves. But that's it. Just kind of spiraled.
How many kids you got, brother?
Well, I have 3. My oldest is 13. He just started swim team, and my 11-year-old, my daughter, she's in gymnastics, and then my youngest is 9. I'm sorry, he just turned 9.
Wow, you got your hands full already. So yeah, get everything paid off and retire from the fire department as quick as you can. And not only
That's
just
the
for
plan.
the physical aspects of it, but to keep your mind right too. Because there are certain times when Russ has to dial me back a little bit because I get a little crazy, and I know it's because of that damn fire department. So
It's either that or the bourbon, man. One of the two.
Right. Well, you can't blame the bourbon. The bourbon's not the problem. That's the solution, right?
I agree, 100%.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Last night, on the other hand, but
that was bourbon. That was the stuff you can't buy on the shelf at the liquor store. So we'll stay away from that tonight. So you guys see why I picked this guy, right? I mean, this is how I pictured the main character anyway in the dang book, and the fact that the main character likes bourbon, Matt likes bourbon. We all like bourbon, except for this. I know there's some of those guys. There's a guy. I got to do a poll here real quick. This, because I never heard of some of this before. I got to do a poll here. It's a man poll. It's gonna be a manly poll, and
this is a manly poll.
And I'm sorry. First of all, I'm sorry if this offends anybody on the socialist platforms like Facebook and YouTube. But guys up here on the panel. When you go to the bathroom to drop a deuce, all right, and number 2, you're going to take a dump, all right? Have any of you ever heard of somebody taking their shirt off to do this? There
have not.
2 guys right now around that campfire that tell me that they take their shirt off. One of them says he gets completely naked to take a dump, and it's not normal. See, guy, I wasn't going to say guy who it was. But Guy's the one that gets completely naked. Yeah. And I'm not going to say who takes his shirt off.
Maybe he has some bowel issues.
I think he might.
Well, all right. So it's Guy. We had to think about this. Let's think logistics. He's got to take the pants off so he can be able to move his legs enough to get up onto the toilet. And then the shirt's probably a little long. He has to take it off. So I'm not saying that I agree with what he does, but logistically it kind of makes sense. I mean, I'm sure Corey might be one of them as well. I don't know.
Patrick says heavyset guys, but neither one of these guys are heavyset, first of all, because they get sweaty. You get sweaty taking a dump? I don't understand that, but I have run a lot of and Matt, you can probably just back me up on this. I have run a lot of commode codes in the past where people go and they bear down a little too much, and that's it. They code right there on the toilet. So maybe you guys are onto something. Maybe we all have to get naked. Yeah. Maybe we all have to get naked to take a dump. I don't understand it, but no, he doesn't. Where is that at again? Put that back.
Yeah.
No, that's never Patrick. That's never going to happen. That's fighting stuff right there. That's like the liberals letting the men come into the ladies' room. If I'm at a urinal and a guy walks in next to me and puts his pants all the way down, we are fighting. You
know what's going to happen? I'm going to say oops, and he's going to get pissed on.
You piss all over his pants that are down by his ankles.
Sorry, man. It has a mind of its own sometimes.
Seinfeld did that on George Costanza did that. You're right. And what about this, guys? You're sitting around a campfire and there's all these manly prepper guys around you, and you're all like, you're tough guys, right? You're preppers. That's why you're here. You're outdoorsmen. And it's a little chilly here in North Carolina. I get it. It's a little chilly. I'm not gonna say it's cold, but it's a little chilly. Yeah. Do you bring a blanket out and snuggle up with a blanket around the campfire with all the other guys around?
Cross your arms and stand it.
Yeah, exactly. You suck it up or you lose your man card. Now, Melissa asked me, because I'm putting on every jacket I have on here, because I'm a Southern boy. I'm a Florida boy, right? And it's cold for me. I'm putting on every jacket. I got sweatpants over my jeans. And she goes, "You want a blanket?" And I'm thinking, I'm like, that would be kind of nice. But if I walk out there with a blanket around me and I sit down, I'm done. Those guys are going to rip me apart. And I go out there and there's a cat out there with a blanket on. And I'm like,
and like Battle Gnome said, technically it was thrown over him. But,
look,
with this crowd,
I get it. Yeah. Look, I get it. but you're not at a drive-in studio sitting in the back of your truck where it's just you and your girl, right? It's not. That's not where we're at. We are at basically Fallout prepper camp. Big tough guys. You got a guy here that was on Angry American that was on the show Alone, for the love of God. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But it wasn't a whoopee. I think it even had like Iroquois says if it was a whoopee, but it wasn't a whoopee. I think it had unicorns and shit on it and rainbows.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway,
I don't see them in chat, so I don't know if they're here or not. But
I'm sure they're around.
I'm sure they're. Well, they're all over there by the fire, so I know they're hearing us rag on him. But
I was gonna say, I think wanting blankets is genetic. My wife, like, passed those genes on to my kids. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, if your boy's doing it, it's all right when they're that little. But once they get that man card, and then you have to tell them, listen, you're just going to freeze to death. That's just before you lose that card, you're going to freeze to death, and that's it. So, that's.
Corey just confirmed what I said.
Yeah. Iroquois said he'd rock that blanket, piss on everybody else. Well, Guy, that's normally true. What happens at Fallout stays at Fallout. But when Russ makes you do a podcast in the middle of it, everything's coming out. I don't care. Everything's coming out.
All right. Hold on. Let me grab my sword and hold on. Let me pull it out of my back, and then I'll fall on it for you.
Egghead, I don't want Egghead, you're not allowed to talk about man card around me.
But guys, Matt, we got to get you to one of these, man. You'll have a blast here.
Yeah,
we had a great bunch of folks.
Yeah,
here.
It sounds like fun.
And I don't know if you can see the chats that's going through, but they're having a ball over there. And that guy, the internet is forever.
It is. It is. But the good thing is we don't take pictures here. Well, unless Holly makes us take pictures, right? But normally. So just some logistics here real quick, Guy, for Fallout. There's a lot of classes that are starting tomorrow. I'm teaching basically a pistol fundamental class, dry fire only, down in the arena. So come see me at 9 a.m. in the morning, and we'll run you through that. And then I guarantee you're going to like that so much, you're going to want to sign up for what comes Monday and Tuesday, which is a live fire pistol class. And then Tuesday, the Troy's Gate experience, which is a life-changing event if you've never done that before. So, and the good thing about it is, hey, did you know, Russ, I actually have somebody tomorrow, and actually not just tomorrow, but Saturday and Sunday, that's going to teach the bulk of this class for me, this dry fire class.
Awesome.
Did you know that?
Yes,
yeah, Meta.
I figured that's what you were working on earlier.
Yeah, no, Meta volunteered to take the lead on these classes. She's a certified instructor. She's a bang up instructor. So she's going to take the lead on this. I'm just going to sit back and learn from her and see how it goes. So I appreciate that, Meta. Thank you very, very much. So, like I said, guys, we're gonna be really super brief tonight. If you have any questions for Matt, now's the time to type something in chat. I think he's going to be a really good fit for the Eden Army. He's a family guy like most of us. He's one of the tribe, right? I mean, he does what we do, and I think he's a perfect match. And now you can see why I picked him for this particular series. So, and Matt, I'm trying as fast as I can to get this next one written to keep you working, and so we'll see how that goes. Oh, Meta says she's going to take the lead. I appreciate that, Meta. Yeah, so we'll try to not, if Russ allows me to start writing again, stops dragging me to all these events and doing these podcasts, I might be able to knock it out.
Number one, I am not in charge of hurricanes. So, and which is what puts you behind. Okay. You control, sir, when we do the podcast.
Stop it.
Yeah, it's you.
Stop it.
Stop it. But once again, hold on. Yes, sir.
Matt, we appreciate you being here. Thanks for spending a Thursday night with us. We're going to go huddle up around the campfire and drink some bourbon and do whatever debauchery comes our way, I reckon. So we appreciate you being here, brother. We look forward to working with you in the future. And guys, if any of the authors out there need a bang up narrator for their books, how can they get a hold of you, Matt? How, if somebody wanted to use you for their book, how can they get a hold of you?
Well, if their book's already out, you could always approach me on Audible itself on ACX's website. If not, Matthew White at voiceovermatthew.org. You can message me there.
Okay, very good. We do have one question from Eric Coy here. It says, oops. No. It says, as a voice actor, do you put yourself in a character's mindset while reading for us?
Yes, at least I try to. So there's a couple people in this book where, now I will say Dalton and I are we have a lot in common. So I kind of just express myself and Dalton himself.
Mm-hmm.
But there's other ones, and you will see a character named Mookie in there. It's kind of like someone who thinks they know more about the world than they probably actually do. And they have these high expectations of what they think is right, and they're completely evil and maniacal. So, you try to put yourself in that kind of mode. And then I bring in people that I've seen on calls that are either, angry or, ego driven or anything like that. So I try to bring my experience into them.
Yeah, and that's why as I'm writing this and I get it done, and I'm like, this guy was an Army medic, but I'm like, Matt, this is the guy. My narrator is the main character. I need to pick this guy right here to do this job. So very good. Let's see. Do we got any other quick questions real quick before we...
I didn't see any other questions, but guys, having listened to a couple of snippets as he was pushing it through the Audible process, Matt, in my opinion, having read the book as well and meeting some of the characters that are somewhat real in there, you nailed it, brother. You absolutely nailed it. Folks, you're going to love it. So
yeah, and I look forward to getting this next one done, Brandon, to keep you going.
No, yeah, hopefully everyone enjoys it, and just make sure you leave those reviews so that way it gets shown everywhere.
Attaboy. Look, he already knows more about marketing and promotion than I do. Damn it.
Absolutely.
I'm so behind the times. Matt, appreciate you being here, brother. Any last words before you call the ball for the night? We'll leave it up to you.
No, thank you for inviting me into the family, and I look forward to the future.
Good. Sounds good. Thanks for being here, man. Have a good night.
You too. Have a good night.
Well, there you go, Russ. That's Matthew White, narrator of Birchwood Burning. Now, I didn't tell him about the review because he's going to be linked in now with one of those crazy, psychotic right wing nut jobs that I got called. But welcome to the club, Matt. Welcome to the club.
Absolutely. And
Boyd Craven Jr. is over there on Facebook. And Boyd, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Boyd is basically the reason I wrote this book. I was in Hinman, Kentucky, freezing, almost killed by a tornado. And the next day I come into the expo. I'm all ragged and all beat up. I smell because I almost died last night. And there's Boyd. He goes, "Hey, I just wanted to meet you. You've been talking to my son, and we want you to write a book for us." And I go, "Okay." We shook hands, and a couple months later, we had a book for him. So I appreciate that opportunity, Boyd. And I was talking to Franklin Horton a little bit earlier. Had nothing but great things to say about you, and so we certainly appreciate that opportunity. Thanks, Russ. What do you got,
man? It's going to be a great weekend, brother. All our friends and our family's here with us. And that's it exactly. This tribe that we have is with us. They, several of them have driven several hundred miles to get here just to come and hang out with the likes of you and Chris and Angry American. And, it's going to be a great weekend. Guys, don't miss the next one. It'll be in May, the first weekend in May. And you're not going to regret it coming. You're not going to regret it coming. But as far as wrapping it up for the night, guys, as always, get prepared. Get to know your community. I can't stress that enough. And Everybody has a birthday. Everybody has a death day. Don't worry about it. The death day. Worry about the dash. Keep it. Worry about today. Prepare for tomorrow. That's
Appreciate
all I
you,
got.
Russ. Thank you for everything you do in the background, brother. We love you. So I'll see you out by the campfire. That is, for the most part, if you weren't able to do the Troy's Gate experience this particular go around, we're going to try to do it at every event. All right. And if we get enough people, I'll come up here and we'll do it when there's not an event going on. That's how strongly I feel about this particular type of training. So it's gonna happen. It's gonna keep on going. We certainly love y'all, and we really need y'all to be safe.